not tease me. I want my Yeezy to journal. This is the season. I got the season. Don't make me sprinkle you. I got my reason. You wanna please me? Send me the.
Yes, welcome to the Uncensored Perspective. My dog 2 Chainz going in on the track for me. Open introduction, big amount. And to bring you part 2 from my original cast that I started with through Uncensored Perspective Media Group, giving you uncensored, we don't hold it back talk. But this is for the people that are not like me, but like me, that have to go to work, that have kids, that use their social media to post pics of the kids, to take selfies, to comment and do all the other stuff. This is for those people who are not represented in the government scope of classes. And we watch football. We talk about football. We talk about who team did what. We talk about this different stuff. I crossed over to fantasy football. I love fantasy league. It would be hard for me to boycott the NFL because that's what I pretty much base my niche around, sports. My favorite topic. I love to chime in about it, and when I found out how easy it was to set up a podcast, to set up a blog, and to blog about what you love to do and talk about, that gave me that part, that fulfillment. So, again, I closed out with a question: do you think that there are politicians who cannot solve their own problems at their job? Should they be able to chime in on sports-related issues? Because clearly, the issue is not being informed on how to deal with the racial treatment and the racial guidelines of our police departments, and the fair and equal treatment of people of other races and nationalities. With all of the new politics and new way of living rolling out to you, you shouldn't be shocked that we've actually given America up for fear-mongering, because Europe is blasted with terrorists and blasted with plots and schemes and debt. But how much of that is really going to turn around and become America's normal? Yes, we have our share of stuff that happens, but when we have leadership in position that's supposed to prevent stuff like this, who do you start to question? When they want to figure out what's going on in the neighborhood with the drugs and everything else, they go to asking questions. They go to grabbing and talking to people, investigating. Well, our government has not investigated enough into what's going on with the everyday citizen's life. Where do you now get off trying to figure out what's wrong with the people, but nobody wants to figure out what's wrong with these people? It's beyond Democrat, Republican talk. This is now Republicans against Republicans and not voting and showing unanimous, undivided unity. And we're not talking about what you see on camera. We're talking about true understanding of political schemes and grandeur. Because think about it. They get together, they talk about a bill they want to pass. They pass this bill, okay. Let them talk about giving gun rights away. Let them talk about giving away tax for the low income people, tax breaks, giving us more money at the bottom. There's going to be a whole talk. There's going to be a whole turnaround. But when you open yourself up to speaking about the current events of today far as NFL protests, the reason why they're protesting. Why do we get short-sighted and offbeat and get upset? Our politicians tweet about it and talk about it. They're ruffling feathers. They're making a statement. They're calling for heads to roll because they want people to act. They're sending signals. They're telling the people in charge to do what needs to be done to silence this movement. It's not rocket science. We do this with anything that we do not care to participate in. America is out there fighting a war in Afghanistan for what? If we didn't stop the war in Iraq, why are we still in Afghanistan? Oh, what is the problem that the government is trying to fix? Opioid addiction. Brought on by what? Pharmaceutical companies, pharmaceuticals, people hooked on pain addiction, feel good methods. We do this to bring about a what in America? We weaken our country by not controlling what we're feeding our people. We ultimately take the power away from the people for votes and rights and privileges and a bunch of other stuff that does not actually help the man who goes to work every day of the week. What do you have to look forward to? If you don't work and save your money, yes, you should invest and save money. But invest in what? What are you investing in? A system that is going to what? Make sure they're paid and you get a minimal return. These are questions that should be addressed and should be brought about to explain to people, why are we suffering? Why do we have a debt ceiling issue? That's trying to go under the rug because of, we need to focus on the NFL protests. North Korea, you're instead of being a big person on the block, to understand the tolerable. See, people with kids could understand this little good part. Your child does something and you fuss. You may have the discipline. But you understand that your child is going to do some stuff. By you being a bigger person, an adult, you take each episode and you make sure that it has the fitting solution to go with it. And somebody like me who have teenagers, your device, take that away, I'm going to get compliance. Versus my 9-year-old who I have to sit there and talk to, and he may have a certain way of feeling when I deal with him about certain things. Now, this is only to bring about change. So when we look at the fact that these so-called people, politicians, want to change something, what are they changing? What are they bringing about change for? Who are they changing it for? Donald Trump is going for tax reforms. Wow. Not shocking. Muscle this one in right now while you can. In the midst of everything else that's unsolved on the plate of the president. There's probably a bunch of stuff that gets shuffled to Mike Pence's office because he's more of the politician type leader versus this businessman who has people deal with stuff for him. He handles his Twitter account. He handles probably the personal issues around him. But think about this. For you to tweet out at 3:30 in the morning lets me know that you're the leader of the free world and you're thinking about the NFL protest. Says a lot about people and character. Where do we finally start drawing the line for us to hold these people accountable to what they're doing. Because they're pretty much doing nothing. They're not solving any issues. They're not doing anything but creating more and more problems in America today. And as Americans, we should be sickened by it instead of being outraged by a protest about stuff that doesn't pertain to one group or race of people. And it's funny that people have a problem with people being targeted for whatever reason it is. And we want to figure out, well, what's wrong with America today? America today is being chosen to be a leader in how to, but we don't value the people that are making the how-tos come about. We can sit back and look at the fact that people do all kind of great, marvelous business ideas and concepts. But when it comes down to running this operation, they need people with intellect to understand the privy and to understand what to do and to get it done without being supervised, because they have other things to do. So when you elect people to do certain positions, they run on a goal focus that I'm the man for the job. I can get things done. I know insights. I know this. Really, they're banking on the hope that you get them to outdo their opponent so that they can finally get in play to carry out the agenda of the people who assure the vote. Because we as people at the bottom assure the vote by going vote. And our voice is not represented because of the privilege of upper crust, big bank, big money, big grip. Yeah, I said it. It's uncensored perspective. I get what you're trying to say. But like I said, I feel good about my show. I feel good about exposing the fact that big business corporations do not chime in for the little people at the bottom. You want us to buy your goods, support your brands, and do everything else. But when it comes down to common usage of things, there seems to be a miscommunique. We didn't get the memo at the bottom. So therefore, I feel no way in particular about speaking about how we should be focused on government affairs, assuring us Americans that we can trust in government, versus everybody's now starting to look at the choice they made and realize that I made a bad choice. You made a bad choice. You made an understanding choice to vote to make America great again. You can, by disapproving of hate, by disapproving of unequal rights for everyone. You can make this country great again by stepping up and holding elected officials accountable, not just to the big donors. And again, pardon me, this is the end of this segment, but I will have a part 3. This can get a part 3. This can get a part 3 because a part 3 needs to be done, because I have to get it out. No way, shape, form, or fashion am I hating on any group, form, faith, race. I love everybody. But when you come down to speaking about affairs that you should reform, it has to be spoken about. And no one seems to want to do this because everyone's afraid, or they don't want to do what they have to do, or they're just opposite of what is going on today. And to be opposite is saying your agenda is what? I will support anyone's agenda long as it's to increase and enlighten our people to move forward. This is America. America, remember that.